But the Jags, they have a better chance of winning the AFC than they do losing this division. I think that's the type of leap. That's the type of leap the Jaguars have this season. Trevor Lawrence came out as a generational prospect. Year one was awful. We know what Urban Meyer, what he did, he should be in jail for what he did. God bless you. He should be in jail for what he did to Trevor Lawrence because he got a competent coach and he was phenomenal. We talked about what Jalen Hurts did last year as a jump. Trevor Lawrence had a bigger jump from his rookie year to his second year than what Jalen Hurts did from his second year to his third year.
Payne-esque.
Trevor went from completing 59% of his passes to 66, 214 yards to 241, doubled his touchdowns from 12 to 25, and cut his interceptions in half from 17 to 8. His passer rating also increased by 23 points. Now he's getting Calvin Ridley, who might take some time to get accustomed to the offense, but Trevor Lawrence was just damn near elite without having Calvin Ridley. So he could take his time to getting back. You still have Christian Kirk. Evan Ingram's coming off a career season who's on a franchise tag. Don't think he's going to get a long-term extension, but he'll still be there. You have ETN, another year removed from his foot surgery. And Tank Bigsby, who's my running back 3, there's already talks about saying it might not just be the kind of the hot hand who gets to work. Tank Bigsby might have an actual real role in this offense. I'm very excited to see what he can do because although ETN is a great running back, 99% of teams do not want that workhorse. You still have the Derrick Henrys of the world who are going to take, 80+% of snaps, 90+% of snaps, Derrick Henry specifically. But for the most part, teams are going to want to have multiple running backs. I think Tank Bigsby could be a really good running back too. Defensively is really the only, big area of concern for the Jaguars if they want to kind of get over the hump, be able to beat the Chiefs, and these big guys get to the AFC Championship game and possibly a Super Bowl. They were terrible against the pass last year, bottom 5, but they were top half of the league in terms of points allowed and rush defense. So some of the times you could see kind of like this funneling on defenses where if you're elite in one area, really elite, you could give up in another area because the team's going to go into that week and say, we could beat them passing the ball. We know we can't beat them rushing the ball. So I think that's something you saw from the Jaguars last season. But to speak about the question at hand, what was the question? Can the Titans
challenge the Jaguars?
I don't see it, man. I really don't see any world outside of a Trevor Lawrence injury. He's just going to get better. We don't know the quarterback situation. Tannehill has had good years in the past. This is his worst season out of his time in Tennessee. Will Levis, second-round pick. Malik Willis might not even make the team. There's just too many question marks around this Titans offense that gets me, worried. Vrabel's going to do his best. They'll win about 7 or 8 games, but similar to the Steelers, how I started this monologue, there's just not enough juice offensively to win a ton of games in the AFC.
I think you did a great job propping up the Jags. I think you're a little too low on the Jags.
I didn't say anything crazy. All I said is, they're going to win the division very comfortably. I think that they're going to hover around a game more than what they did last year.
I have no concerns about Calvin Ridley. I don't. And the reason why I don't is because we saw Evan Ingram go from being unplayable,
but he played
one of the worst tight ends in the league.
But he's playing on the NFL field
to a standout tight end.
He played.
That's different. It's not Calvin Ridley's bad.
Calvin Ridley so far.
My issue with Calvin is not his skill or his talent.
Facts.
Calvin Ridley in camp has been showing out to teammates.
So
it's been reported. And hey. It's the bounce back, is it not? It's the bounce back for
lower on Deshaun.
I'm lower on Kevin Stefanski. I think Deshaun will bounce back just fine. The Jaguars are going to be fine offensively. Really, Christian Kirk,
for sure,
Evan Ingram, ETN, Tank Bigsby's going to have a role, especially in the red zone, I think, just because he's a bigger body. And Trevor Lawrence, the improvement doesn't get spoken about enough.
Agreed.
He had the 6th lowest interception rate of quarterbacks with 200-plus attempts.
8 picks.
Now, Trevor Lawrence was the only quarterback in the NFL last year to average a target depth of at least 7.25 yards on 500-plus attempts, but throw fewer than 10 interceptions. Since 2000, there have only been 129 quarterbacks to do that on 8 interceptions or fewer. That's Aaron Rodgers in his 3 MVP seasons, Tom Brady in 2015, Patrick Mahomes in 2020, Derek Carr in 2016, Matt Ryan in 2018 after the MVP season.
Couple of your my guys,
Carson Wentz in 2019, and another my guy, Kirk Cousins in 2021. This is elite company, Dehls.
You're Zach Wilson away from everybody.
This is elite company, Dehls. Now, from week 9 onward, Lawrence was top 10 in yards per attempt, EPA per attempt, and success rate.
He ranked rusher.
He ranked number 1 against man coverage post week 9. Post-week 9, Trevor Lawrence was very comfortably a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And what he does so well that doesn't get talked about enough is the Jaguars' offensive line isn't good.
100%.
It's 31st in pass block
100%.
win rate. And Trevor Lawrence is just so good at getting the ball out of his hands quick and great at navigating the pocket to where he has a low sack percentage, even with his offensive line not being good. The area of improvement for him all comes down to him throwing under pressure. Under pressure, he was 26 in EPA per attempt, 27th in success rate, and 33rd in yards per attempt. So under pressure is where Trevor Lawrence has struggled. I think we'll get another leap in that department. The only thing I worry about is defense. Because offensively, I know Doug Peterson's going to have them ready to play.
No doubt.
Calvin Ridley, even if he's not a wide receiver 1, as long as you can get comfortable number 2 production, 800 to 1,000 yards, with Christian Kirk there, with how Ridley can stretch the field out with his speed, I think they'll be fine. It's just the defense is really below average.
Agreed.
They only faced 5 offenses last year that ranked above average other than KC. It was Philadelphia, the Giants, Detroit, Dallas, and Baltimore. The Jaguars' offense can compete against anybody. Agreed. It's really just their defense that I don't trust. Their pass rushes are good, but they can't stop the run, and they were 28th in allowing the most passing yards. And I think I might have switched that because I think they were okay against the run, but they definitely need a bigger body in the interior of their defensive line. The defense is the only thing that holds me back from saying, well, this team can be major contenders in the AFC. And I think the issue the Jaguars are going to face moving forward is that they invested so much money to last year's crop of free agents that moving forward, team building for them, even with Lawrence on a rookie deal, is going to be pretty difficult. So I think they are lucky that they're in a great division. They're in an easy division because this division, I think, is easily theirs. I don't see any team coming close to competing with Jacksonville in the AFC South.
Yeah, and last year they were bad against the pass, but decent against the run. Where do you guys think after this season, Trevor Lawrence, where'd you have him in your rankings?
I have him number 6 or 7.
That's fine.
Where do you think after this year he can move up? Can he get ahead of a Justin Herbert? Can he get ahead of a Josh Allen?
Here's
I think
the
you had Hurts above
here's
him
the
too.
unfortunate truth. I don't think anyone can dethrone number 1.
Facts.
I think that he's a lock.
He's locked
Probably until he retires.
most likely.
Some shit's gonna have to happen. Maybe the only guy who could really talent-wise could catch him maybe is a Trevor Lawrence. Who knows? Just because of the
Caleb Williams,
the
maybe
potential.
comes up.
There we go. That's another name.
Mahomes got,
but
probably 8
he has
years.
such a lead.
He's probably
he
got
has
8 years
such
to
a
be number
lead
1.
of
Yeah,
being
yeah. 2 Super
just by
Bowls.
number 1 right now. That you probably just look at the ceiling for Trevor Lawrence. He could be number 2 in the league one day. So I think after next season, depending on how great this offense is, let's say it's a top 10, top 7 unit in the league, and of course he's in the contention to be MVP. It's not crazy to have him in that top 4 conversation, maybe even top 3.
Be above your guy Herbert.
No, we won't.
No,
Herbert's number 2.
He's number 2. I
Herbert's
forgot.
number 2.
Forgot about that.
The
And
quarterback's
easy with my guy.
over him.
Easy with my guy Herbert. It's just I believe in the talent. I believe in the player that
so
is
do I.
Justin Herbert.
He's nice.
That's all I'm gonna
Kellen
say.
Moore there now. Quinn Johnson.
Hey, shit's gonna get spooky, man.
The quarterbacks I have over Lawrence are Hurts, Herbert, Allen, and Burrow.
That's another one. Jalen
Jalen?
Hurts needs that respect.
I think that Lawrence can be above all these guys. I do. I think after next season, maybe Burrow has his spot because of just how prolific that offense is going to be. But he can be over Josh Allen, who's turnover prone. Justin Herbert, we'll see if Kellen Moore elevates him or kind of limits him because
Can I ask you a question?
in Dallas, what?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I really do apologize for that. Who's more talented in your opinion, Trevor Lawrence or Joe Burrow?
Trevor Lawrence is more talented.
Let me ask you another question, just because we're having fun. It's the off season.
Why not?
What would Trevor Lawrence do in this Cincinnati Bengals offense?
Be fantastic.
Yeah, he would be great. I think he'd be a great quarterback, yeah.
Do you think he would be better than Joe Burrow?
No, I don't think so.
No. But you just told me talent-wise he's better.
I think talent-wise he's better, but Joe Burrow, I think, reads the field better than Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is more talented
He was top 7 in terms of touchdown-interception ratio.
in the second half of the season.
For sure. And then also he went from 17 interceptions in year 1, one of the worst situations in all of sports, let's be real, to being 25-8, which is incredible. With Christian Kirk as his wide receiver 1, Evan Ingram as probably his second most reliable option, a terrible offensive line similar to Joe Burrow. And honestly, if you ask me, I look at the Cincinnati offensive line, might be slightly better, even though, of course, in terms of win percentage,
Both mid.
tomato. However, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins,
Clears.
Goodness gracious. If Trevor Lawrence was in this, it's not even a fucking
I think the question is, what would Joe Burrow do in the Jaguars offense?
He would be the same. It would honestly, he'd be an
But
MVP
you just
candidate.
told me that you believe Trevor Lawrence is more
You
talented.
put up 39 touchdowns
just 'cause-
with this. I don't
That's
know.
what I'm saying. He would put up 39?
Just because you're more talented doesn't mean you're better. Was Tom Brady ever the most talented quarterback in the league?
It was Rodgers most of the time.
I don't know. I mean, before Rodgers, it was competition between Peyton Manning and him. I would lean Peyton, of course. But that 2007 season, if you said that he's the most talented, who's going to bat an eye at you? No one.
I just think the touchdowns wouldn't be at 39.
And I think that when it comes to Joe Burrow, what's forgotten about is, of course, they drafted Jamar Chase with the 5th overall pick. But before he tore his ACL, he was on his way to have a historic rookie season with a second-year coach in Zach Taylor and a rookie T. Higgins. T. Higgins.
He was nice.
It was nice.
Listen,
nice as
T.
fuck.
Higgins was great. He
And
was
Tyler
great as a
Boyd,
rookie.
good as hell, too.
Yeah, they were good. But Joe Burrow elevated that team. And
I live to discredit Joe Burrow. man.
outside of 2 games versus the Steelers and the Ravens, the Bengals were in every single game until Burrow got injured.
Definitely.
And it was between him and Herbert of who was having a better rookie season. I think Herbert was having a better one, but Joe Burrow was right up there. So if you're telling me you're giving me Doug Peterson one of the better play callers in the NFL, I think Doug Peterson's a better play caller than Zach Taylor.
I agree.
The Bengals have more talent offensively, but
Significantly.
if Joe Burrow is on the Jaguars with Doug Peterson in a good situation, I think we're still looking at him as one of the top quarterbacks in the league.
I don't disagree. I definitely don't disagree with that statement. I'm not calling him anything less than top 10 if he's in that situation. However, Trevor Lawrence would be in this exact situation, I think, probably a little bit better, to be
I
honest.
mean, you
with
can think that, but that's all
special.
hypotheticals.
Oh, great. Hey, we're
I
having
mean-
fun. It's the
I mean-
off season. That's all.
July 12th.
I said we're here to have fun.
I mean,
That's
listen,
it. Loosen
overall-
up. Dude, have you smiled once this podcast?
Overall,
what's going
we're
on?
talking
do you
about
have
Matt Ryan.
do you,
Goodness gracious!
do you have Joe Burrow
I missed that
above-
smile. I wish I would have seen
do you
it.
have Joe Burrow above Trevor Lawrence?
As of right now, due to the success that Joe Burrow has had, of course he gets.
So you're
that
saying yes. So what's this hypothetical? If you
Hey,
think
listen,
Joe
I
Burrow's
said
better,
if you put Trevor Lawrence in this situation, shit, it would probably be opposite.
well, ultimately, I mean, Drew, you're ranking quarterbacks in a vacuum because
I do like to do that.
if you were ranking
Yeah,
quarterbacks in a
Herbert too.
vacuum and you still have Burrow over Trevor Lawrence,
Here's the
then
thing,
what
I
you
have to
just
look-
said
here's
does
the
not
thing,
make sense.
I have to look smart and respectful, right? So what am I doing? I'm respecting Joe Burrow for the success that he's had in the National Football League. He's put forward 2 elite regular seasons, and he's put forward some solid postseason success.
Couple good games here and
successful
there.
numbers. Exactly.
Game manager numbers. to be
Nothing
honest.
over the top.
Game
Joel,
manager
hey,
numbers.
if I say that, I'm a hater. I don't.
Listen, Dehls,
if I say that, I'm a
listen,
hater.
With
listen,
all
Dehls.
due respect,
That's what I'm saying.
Listen, Dehls, you
With
would
all
take
due
those
respect.
game
All due
managing
respect.
numbers.
All due respect.
Lamar
Call it out
Jackson,
what
how
it
many
is.
playoff was Lamar Jackson?
Hey,
have?
hey,
One
are we
playoff
here
win?
talking?
one.
Dude,
What
are
are
we
we
here
talking
talking
about?
about Lamar Jackson
we're not
being
talking
this?
about Lamar
We're
Jackson.
not doing
Did I
that.
say Lamar Jackson
Listen,
has
if
been
you
a
want
leading
to
the playoffs?
Bro, why
disrespect,
did he even bring
you
up
want to
Lamar
disrespect
Jackson?
Joe
Am I
Burrow.
disrespecting?
You want to
Are
disrespect
we
Joe Burrow.
Gets
disrespecting?
hurt.
All I'm saying is that Trevor Lawrence is more talented. That's all I'm doing.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's all I'm doing. Trevor Lawrence is more talented. He
Thought he
is.
said Jalen Hurts.
Oh,
No, Jalen Hurts just might be a better player. That's it.
Nah, he's not.
he's more handsome.
Nah, he's
Oh,
not.
that's a clearing.
Joe
Hey,
Burrow's a
Joe Burrow's a
good-looking
handsome
dude, though.
dude.
He's a real
But Jalen Hurts might be
Pat,
in a
what's your
class
type?
of his own.
Who's your type?
Fair enough.
Like the white boy, light
And
skin. You
I
know what
understand
I
where you're
mean?
coming from.
Listen, Drew,
Light
I
eyes.
understand.
Hey, Jalen Hurts has those too, man. Guy's gifted.
I
Facial
understand
hair,
Drew
Burrow's
has to
got the
save
baby
face. He once called Tua a better quarterback than Joe Burrow.
never did
Thinks
that.
that
He
he
said
could be
he
better
will be.
career-wise.
Said he
Said he
will
can
be.
be.
Or
Oh,
can be.
listen, tomato,
Can be or will
tomato,
be?
whatever. Will
Said
be.
he can be. Will be.
It's the
Either
same
way.
thing. It's the same thing you're doing with.
Oh, listen, I'll fucking stand on Will,
Will
be.
be?
I don't give
Okay.
a flying fuck. Wait till this season when he's MVP. It's going to be fucking goated.
And listen, man, I understand you got to save face because you've been wrong about Joe Burrow every step of the
I
way.
haven't.
But ultimately, you got
When
to
have
give
I?
your respect
When
to
have
Joe
I?
Burrow.
Talk to me. When have I?
Well, when you didn't have him as a top 5 quarterback coming into last
God
season,
forbid I had him at 7. No.
I don't
7?
remember where I had him.
What the
you
fuck
didn't have
we
him as
doing?
a top 5 quarterback. And you said Tua one day be better. We all know that's a blasphemous, idiotic take.
not.
We all know that.
not.
What would Joe
We
Burrow?
saw what happened when we
What
gave
would Joe
him-
Burrow?
We
Dehls,
saw, hey, easy. Hey, we don't have to get rowdy. We don't have to get rowdy. We saw what happened year 1 when we gave Tua adequate talent.